Well, Trainer did say that Liara had made this room her own, so let's go see out what she's up to.
Commander Shepard, it's a pleasure to see you again.
You're the drone from the Shadow Broker's ship.
Dr. Tassoni now refers to me as Glyph instead of Info Drone, 95% of the time. If you have a moment, I'd like to draw your attention to a terminal in her office. It analyzes information packages. If you find any useful data, I can research upgrades for you.
And what should I be looking for?
I'll inform you if you found relevant data. When you do, return to this terminal for your choices. In the meantime, Dr. Tassoni would like to speak with you. Have a pleasant day.
Meeting with the council didn't go too well, huh?
It was less than ideal.
I'm shocked.
At least the council can't deny the Reapers exist. But I'm not sure how much comfort that is while they bicker over which portion of the galaxy to save.
Wow. Becoming the big info brokers turned you into a real cynic, Liara. I like it.
I'm flattered. I think.
Yeah, well, if Joker approves, then Shepard approves.
Looks like you brought more than just that drone from your ship.
A few things were necessary. I'd be a very silent shadow broker without data feeds.
So you have access to your resources?
What I can get. We'll need it to research this Prothean device. Until we understand precisely what it does, it's far too dangerous to use.
Did the Protheans actually complete this weapon?
You mean, will it work? They wouldn't have poured their last resources into this device if they thought otherwise. But we really need to find out just what kind of weapon they left us.
Yeah, because if this is some sort of like go out with a bang nuke that destroys the whole universe, I don't think that's something we're necessarily going to want to use.
It'd be nice to know we're not kids playing around with a loaded gun.
Absolutely. The damage it could cause if it backfired is unthinkable. This will be difficult even for us. If something happens on a mission, if either one of us are hurt. Shepard, there's something I need to ask before we go any further. I know you and Tali grew close. Is that in the past? Should I forget there was anything between us?
Mass Effect 1 style Liara, Mass Effect 2 style Tali. Do I fancy a bit of nostalgia pie? Who shall I go with?
A lot has happened since then, Liara. I don't think we'd work anymore.
Really? Thank you for letting me know.
I think it's best for both of us.
Of course. Well, anyway, I should get down to business. There's a lot to do if we're to discover exactly what the Protheans left us.
Now, with that in mind, if you actually romance Liara in Mass Effect 3, you don't have to have romanced her. You don't have to have romanced her in any of the Mass Effect games. You can like pick up the romance from 3 if you fancy it. But I do honestly believe, like, if you were to go through all 3 games, or even just one then just one then 3, that Liara's romance in Mass Effect 3, I believe, is actually quite a good story. It kind of works quite fittingly, seeing as how she's with you from like the very start of the game. Like, maybe up until the end. Obviously, I don't want to give anything away, but I feel like it works quite well. But when you don't romance her, like I have now, I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's like for the rest of the game, she kind of blanks you. It's kind of odd. Every time you come down there, she never has anything to say to you. But, hey ho, fair enough. Her loss, I guess.
Hello again, Shepard.
I might as well get the most information out of her now while I can.
What have you been up to since we last saw each other?
Since you helped me defeat the Shadow Broker, I started looking for defenses against the Reapers. The Protheans were the only ones with substantial information on them. The older civilizations barely had records. I knew the elusive man was hunting for the same thing when our agents began crossing paths.
Like on Mars?
I thought I'd covered my tracks, but he had surveillance there all along.
That wouldn't exactly surprise me. Speaking of, how is it being the Shadow Broker?
What's been happening with you as the broker, Liara?
It's been exciting. The old broker's ship, impressive, but it was never meant to be space-worthy. Which meant the elusive man eventually tracked me down on Hagalaz.
What happened?
I knew he was coming. Farron and I loaded as much of the ship's specialized hardware onto a shuttle as we could. We got away from Cerberus' ships after arranging an appropriate distraction.
What kind of distraction?
Sending the broker's ship exploding into a Cerberus cruiser. I don't think the elusive man expected me to give up my resources in such a spectacular fashion.
Can you still operate as the broker without the ship?
Well, I couldn't let the elusive man have it. I saved what was crucial. My network of agents is intact, although the Reapers have taken a toll on their numbers. It's taking a while to re-establish contact.
So where is Farron if you two escaped?
He convinced me he was recovered enough to work, and I do need more agents.
Agent Farron didn't report any injuries during his last call to you, Doctor.
True. Given what he survived, I should probably worry less.
Yeah, I mean, I really doubt the Reapers are going to just strap him down to a chair and electrocute him for God knows how long he was trapped there last time.
How much do you know about this Prothean artifact?
Very little. We're fortunate enough Data survived to piece together the blueprints. Decoding them will require as many specialists as we can find.
It's that high-tech?
I'd have killed for a glimpse of it during graduate school.
It's just it was that blue glow in front of Liara's face. It's that irritating.
You brought your little helper with you?
Its name is Glyph. It helped sort through all the data that led me to the archive on Mars.
It was a pleasure to be of assistance, Doctor.
Glyph's interfaced with the data feeds. Its analytical software should come in handy.
It looks like Shepard was. Looks like Shepard didn't like hearing that news. Liara, I can barely look at you anymore.
We'll talk later, Liara.
Of course.
Looks like Shepard had had enough of that blue glow in his face as well.
This terminal contains non-essential correspondence from your allied forces. Dr. Tassoni has granted you access.
So basically, all the information Shadow Broker is privy to, now we are too. So, Prothean notes. So these are some of Liara's notes on the Protheans. Obviously, you can see the date stamps there. So, back from before we met her and then till after we met her. Or since we've met her. But, as always, feel free to pause the video and give these a read. Quite interesting, not necessarily essential, but definitely something that's worth giving a read if you're interested in the backstory of Mass Effect and all that. Which I definitely am. Goddess, this human shepherd has the key to comprehending the Protheans on his instinctual subconscious level. By the goddess. Ow, look at that, and a message from Farron as well. Yeah, all that sort of stuff, I'd always give it a read. I found it pretty fascinating myself. And here, basically, when you're going out throughout the game, you'll find these little sort of intel. And what you can do is by clicking on them, Glyph can either transfer them into two different ways. And you basically have to pick which one you want. You've got ammo capacity plus 5% or shields 5%. Obviously, I always go for stuff like either damage or protection. When it comes to stuff like ammo, I'm not really that fussed. So, shield strength bonus, definitely something we're up. It's up that by 5%.
Please, enjoy your day.
But this is all sort of stuff that I'll normally be doing in Normandy stories, so you'll still get to see it. You'll still get to see a glimpse of it and all that sort of stuff, but I won't be going too in-depth about it. But that's why I come around with you this first time anyway, so I can just speak my mind and just give you a lowdown of everything that you're seeing. So, let's see what they've done with old Zaid's old quarters. Shepard, come down for more talking, have you? I sounded like Jason Statham.
How's your new assignment working out, Allers?
Fairly normal, except for the unshackled AI, Matriarch Benezia's daughter, and the communicator that can reach Earth. The first two, I can deal with. That last one gets my attention.
So what are you asking for exactly?
Anything from Earth is the lead story right now. That's not opinion, it's fact.
Maybe I can pass on a few non-classified progress updates.
Seriously? You just doubled my ratings. I don't need FaceTime, just a data upload.
Tell people what's really happening on Earth. We need long recruiting lines on every planet after you air a story.
I can do this, Commander. Remind me to tell you about the time I made an Elcor cry.
Oh, that's a horrible story. I mean, I get what she was getting at, but why would you want to make an Elcor cry? You evil woman.
Commander.
Although you're definitely better looking on the eyes than old Zaid. Anywho, I'm out of here. Not much better looking though, mind you. So let's have a look at old Looky Loo. Now down here, in Jack's old quarters, there is not really anything ever going on throughout pretty much most of the game. But, right at the very start, there is one very essential reason why you should go down here. Other than a lot of your model ships are around here. There's another one there. There's another one rocking around here somewhere. There we go. But there is one extremely important reason you need to come down here. Now, if I just keep an eye out on the floor, any minute now. Come on, don't be shy. This is Sheppy standing here. Come out. You missed me. You know you missed me. Don't be shy now. Come on out. You're going to make... There he is! Chewie! Come back to me, Chewie! Don't run away from Daddy. Damn it. Ah, the old space hamster has been lurking down here. Looks like they didn't properly evacuate him from the Normandy when they did all the retrofits. They must have spooked the poor little bugger. Come on, Chewie. Come back to me. I got so excited I mashed the keyboard. Why are you so hard to get? There we are. Space hamster is now back in the captain's cabin. God. Don't get me wrong. I miss Jack, but if it was the choice between Jack or the space hamster, Chewie. I choose you every time, my little furry rodent friend. You even top trump the fish. Well, look who it is.
Commander, welcome back to the Normandy. Or maybe you should be saying that to me.
Engineer Adams, what are you doing here?
I was put in charge of the drive core retrofits. My experience on the Normandy SR-1 made me an obvious choice.
So, what do you think of our SR-2?
She's incredible. If there's one nice thing I can say about Cerberus, it's that they know how to build a ship. And about that, Cerberus, I mean, I owe you an apology.
How so?
Back when you got this ship, Dr. Chakwas contacted me, asking me to help with your mission against the Collectors. I refused. I didn't have your back, and I'm sorry for that.
Why didn't you join us?
I saw what happened to you when the Normandy went down. I didn't trust that it was really you, and I certainly didn't trust Cerberus. Also, as an officer of the Alliance, I don't just leave my post, you know?
Alright, Adams, if it was anyone else I might be a bit miffed, but I can't be mad at you. I miss our old conversations from the original Normandy. Well, I say that, we had like one conversation and then you just repeated the same thing over and over again.
Your Alliance first. That's the way it should be.
Thank you, Commander. Glad to be aboard.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you back, Adams.
Is your family okay?
My parents are serving on Viridian Zenith, an Alliance agricultural vessel. My sister is a navigator on the SSV Benjamin Davis. Happy to report that both vessels are safely under Hackett's command.
Does the new Normandy stack up to the old SR-1?
Stack up. It blows the old ship away. The Tantalus drive core has been completely overhauled. The SR-2 might be nearly twice the size, but the new drive core is 3 times bigger. This ship can fly. That said, Cerberus isn't too high on safety. If pushed past her limits, this core would vent into engineering. Guess it gives my team incentive to keep her well balanced during a firefight.
Do your job or get vaporized.
Pretty much. I noticed you upgraded the kinetic barriers with cyclonic technology. Should help reduce the draw when under missile fire.
Hopefully that means fewer vaporized engineers?
The IES stealth system is significantly improved. It can handle a higher blue shift of our emissions.
And that means...
We should be able to drop out of FTL without triggering every sensor in range. Very handy for stealth reconnaissance. All in all, the Normandy is a marvel of engineering.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty certain we fixed the whole being vaporized engineering problem last time we were on the Normandy, but hey ho, looks like we may have to be doing it again.
What do you think of Edie?
We had a good talk during the retrofit. A little strange at first, talking shop with an AI.
AI? I thought Edie posed as a VI to keep the likes of you from unplugging her.
Yeah, but I saw through her. Have you seen her hardware? Processing power is off the charts. And then there were the problems that kept fixing themselves. If I hadn't had her pegged, I would have sworn I was losing it.
You never expressed any skepticism, Lieutenant Adams.
I figured I'd better play it safe with the Cerberus AI, Edie. No offense.
None taken. As long as you keep your fingers out of my cognizance processors.
In the beginning, I tried disconnecting her from key processes without giving myself away. Easier said than done. But Joker seemed to trust her, and in time I saw her advantages. Even grew to like her.
Fair enough. See, and that's why we like you, Adams. You didn't want to abandon the Alliance, but when it comes down to it, you're willing to let things slide for the greater good. Welcome back, Adams.
Carry on, Adams.
Aye, aye, sir.
Anywho, I think that's all we really need to do in here. Grunt's old quarters, as much as I'd love to go in here, we can't. See, look, you get rid of the woman's bathroom, you get rid of Grunt's room, you're just making Normandy boring. You're taking away all the things that used to make it fun. Cerberus might be evil, but they made a fun and quite pretty Normandy. Now, just like with each Mass Effect game, Mass Effect 1, I believe it only had, was it 2 floors or 3 floors? I can't really work it out. I think it was 3 if you count the lift. Mass Effect 2, and with the SR2, you had 4 floors, and now with number 3, we have 5 floors. We can actually head down to the shuttle bay, at least when we're not in combat this time.
Lieutenant Steve Cortez, shuttle pilot. Got news about our supply chains, Commander.
Nice to meet you, Lieutenant. What's going on?
Sorry to just jump in, Commander. There's so much to be done, I get caught up in the tasks at hand.
He's always like that. You need to chill out, Esteban.
So you do care, Mr. Vega? Or is that the Cerveza talking again?
So what's happening with our supply chains, Lieutenant?
Retailers. You can view inventory and make purchases right from this console.
When I network to a new store, I'll let you know.
It does cost more to coordinate delivery to the Normandy, so it's cheaper to buy supplies when you're there.
So you're my shuttle pilot, but you're setting up procurement chains?
I wasn't assigned as Normandy's pilot. Not much need for one on a dry dock ship. I was overseeing the retrofit of the cargo hold. I'm quite familiar with the operation and maintenance of the UT-47 Kodiak and the M44 Hammerhead. With my experience, it made sense for me to take over as shuttle pilot when we left Earth. Especially given Mr. Vega's love of mid-air collisions.
To save the day, pendejo.
I'm also responsible for logistics, making sure the armory and shuttle are properly stocked and maintained.
Hey, well, look at that. One of our first PVR cutouts of the game. I think we've made it quite far into the game before we lost about 2 seconds of footage. Well, if it was going to happen, talking to Cortez, I suppose, is one of the better places for it to happen. Don't get me wrong, I like Cortez. I've got nothing against Cortez, but I felt they pushed really hard to make him an involved character. But for someone who just drives the shuttle, I felt they tried too hard to make quite a vanilla character important, if you see what I mean. I think Cortez, I'm surprised he hasn't been put on the same list as Kaidan and Jacob when it comes to being boring. Because, I don't know, I just found everything Cortez had to say very kind of bland and very non-interesting, to be honest with you. But, with saying that, I do like Cortez. I've got nothing against the guy, I think he's a fun character.
How long have you been with the Alliance?
About 10 years. I enlisted in First Fleet serving on the SSV Hawking, flying F-61 Tridents mostly. I love the Trident. And practically dances in low atmo. I spent as much time tinkering on my bird as flying her. Got a bit of a reputation.
So, you can fly fighters and fix them?
Yeah, and I got a knack for procurement, too. They were grooming me for CAG, but my skill set made me more valuable commanding a flight deck. They assigned me to the Normandy retrofit team about 5 months ago to oversee all cargo bay modifications.
What happened to the M44 Hammerhead?
It was sent to the tech labs for a retrofit. To afford mobility with such a small ESO core, its design sacrificed armor plating. The lab engineers are trying to improve that. After the Reaper invasion, those labs are probably just a pile of rubble.
So basically you're trying to tell me that my Firewalker DLC vehicle I got has just been destroyed in a Reaper invasion because the Alliance wanted to improve its armor. All you had to do was take off the armor shell of the Mako, slap it on the Hammerhead, and you have the best vehicle ever. Pretty simple.
The Kodiak seems a bit different.
Good eyes, Commander. This is the UT-47A Kodiak. It's got an upgraded ESO core and prototype stealth technology based on the Normandy design. For quick drops, I can get you in and out virtually undetected. She flies like a brick, so that's why you need a good pilot.
Oh, it sounds like they've taken my advice then. It looks like they've slapped the hull of the Maker and put it right on top of the Firewalker, or the Hammerhead. Yeah, good.
Do you maintain this armory?
I share that duty with our illustrious Mr. Vega. Though I believe the only weapon he really cares to maintain is himself.
You know you love the show, Esteban.
The first retrofit we did was to move the armory down from Deck 2. I'm not sure what Cerberus engineers were thinking. Now you get off the elevator, pick your gear, and head right into the shuttle.
Just like the original Normandy.
Welcome back to the Alliance, Commander.
Well, I suppose that is a good point. Back where Ashley Williams' quarters were, that was where you did all your weapon modifications and all that sort of stuff. I suppose it's actually quite a good point. Why would you have the armory on the CIC? It does kind of make no sense. Stupid Jacob.
You were stationed on Earth. Do you have family there?
I'm an only child. Lost my parents years ago. I had a husband back when I was stationed at Ferris Fields. The Collectors took out the whole colony. I'd rather not talk about it.
I don't blame you, Alright then, moving on.
Keep up the hard work, but don't kill yourself.
Yes, Commander.
And I wasn't going to say anything at first, I felt there was no real need to, but I do love the fact that finally in Mass Effect 3 they decided to add a bit of diversity into the game, making the fact that you have characters who are gay, and the fact that you yourself can make your character gay as well. I thought that was a very nice touch. I thought that was very fitting and a good thing for a game to do. These days, I mean, especially like games they've always been very stereotypical with your small women with a big rack and then your big overly sized muscled men. I'm looking at Resident Evil here when I'm talking about that. But it's just refreshing to see a game that like this, like Mass Effect, where they tend to break boundaries a little bit, and they went ahead and they've done that in this game, and I think it's quite a good thing to see. It's quite refreshing, I think, to see in the game. But anyway, Mr. James Vega, you are someone I didn't like the first time I played this game. But I don't know, recently this character has grown on me a lot. I mean, if you want to play this game and have a couple of laughs, just bring James Vega with you on every mission, because vocally I think he does just as good a job as Garrus Vakarian. And side note, he's voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr. So there's that too.
Hey, Shepard. How'd it go with the council?
Same as usual. Non-committal. Unhelpful.
Bet they still wanted you to help them out, no?
Yeah. We're gonna rescue a Turian Primarch from Palaven.
Sounds like fun. Never been to the Turian homeworld. You down here for a reason?
I'd be polite if you stopped working out in front of your commanding officer. Just saying.
Just came down to talk.
Great. Not sure what there is to talk about. You already know my service record.
I don't, actually. I didn't have access to personnel records when we met.
Right. Forgot about that. Well... Think you can dance and talk at the same time?
I think I can handle it.
Okay, loco. Let's dance.
Don't push your luck, Vega. With age comes wisdom. And rank.
Ha! You sound like my old CO.
Oh yeah? And who was that?
Captain Tony. He was a hard-ass son of a bitch, but a good leader. Nice.
What do you mean, was?
Died. With most of my squad. Protecting a civilian colony from a collector attack.
And the colony?
It was either them, or the intel we had on the collectors. Intel we could have used to destroy them. I chose the intel.
Sorry. That's a tough call.
The best part was, we didn't really need the intel in the end. Because you were out saving the galaxy by taking down the entire Collector homeworld.
You didn't know. You can't blame yourself, Vega.
Who says I'm blaming myself?
I do.
You a shrink too?
Nope. But that stunt back on Mars was reckless. You're lucky to be alive.
So?
So? Maybe you don't care if you live or die.
Or maybe... I'm just willing to do whatever the fuck it takes to end this goddamn war!
Maybe you are. But if you're half as good as I think you are, we need you alive.
Thanks for the pep talk.
Anytime.
Hey, thanks for the dance, Loco.
Loco, huh?
I can think of worse things to call you.
Long as you remember who's in charge, you can call me whatever you want.
Oh, I won't forget.
And there we have it, Mr. James Vega, ladies and gentlemen. And as I say, if you want to bring a character along that vocally is just worth a few laughs on missions, definitely bring him along. Some of the stuff he comes out with on missions is just pure hilarious. But I like the fact that with James here and with other people throughout the game, they reference like what was happening with the Collectors and the fact they were taking whole colonies. So I mean, Mass Effect 1 was all about the Reapers, Mass Effect 3 is obviously all about the Reapers. And even though Mass Effect 2 was about the Reapers, I mean the colonies were, the Collectors were working for the Reapers, it kind of seems like it's a bit out of place, you know? It's sort of like you got Mass Effect 1 and 3, and then 2 was kind of like its own little story. And you know, they were taking whole colonies, whole worlds, and I just like the fact that they do actually reference that in Mass Effect 3, and they don't just pretend it didn't happen. I do like that, because I thought if they just pretended the Collectors didn't actually take people and there was no ramifications for that, it would be a bit goofy. But anyway, James, anything else on your mind, or can we have a chat about you trying to punch me in the face now?
Hey again. What's up?
Well, I don't know. First, you might need a tissue. You're kind of dribbling from the nose there.
What's with you and the nicknames?
It's just my way of remembering people. Some people just don't match their names, you know? So, I just give them a new one.
So, I'm a loco, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty crazy, but the shit you've done makes me look sane.
And that's actually something I can agree with. I actually do the exact same thing in real life. Some people, they just don't match their names. Giving them new names, it's just easier way to remember them.
I take it you and Lieutenant Cortez know each other.
Yeah, Esteban did a stint on Fel Prime where me and my squad were stationed. I caught up with him on Earth a few months back. He's a good guy. Just don't tell him I said so. It'll go to his head.
Speaking of your squad, tell me a little bit about your previous mission.
You mentioned a mission you had against the Collectors. What happened?
Pretty much what I said. Things went foobar, and I was one of the few to make it out. If you want the rest of the story, you're gonna have to get me really drunk, or
what?
That's about it. Sorry, Commander. Just not interested in talking about that. Next topic?
I see he's heard that Shepard likes to talk quite a bit. But yeah, it's beginning to make me worry about your state of mind a bit.
You had a hard time leaving Earth. You still want to head back?
Hell yeah. But I get it now. It's not where I'd be most useful. Not yet, anyway.
We'll get back there.
I know. And I'll do whatever it takes to get us there, Commander.
Maybe no more shuttle crashes.
No promises now that I've gotten the taste for it. Besides, I like to keep Esteban on his toes.
Clearly Esteban isn't replying right now. Maybe he's a little bit miffed that you destroyed his shuttle and he had to fix it by hand.
You got family back on Earth?
Yeah, an uncle. Retired military. Got a few cousins I haven't heard from in a while.
You and your uncle close?
Yep. He was the reason I joined the Marines and was about the only good thing in my life after my mom died.
No dad?
He's there. Somewhere. But I'm not sure I'd call him family. Not anymore. I would like to find out how my uncle's doing, though.
And it turns out James Vega's father was Harbinger. Dun dun dun.
I'll talk to you later.
You bet.
Assuming direct control of Vega.
Sounds like the Turians got hit pretty hard by the Reapers. So, the Turians want us to go find one of their politicians, huh? Nice to see we're being put to good use. Well, maybe we'll get to kick some Reaper ass while rescuing the Primarch. Do you hear that hum? Is that just me?
Now, I've got to say, the first time I heard him say that, I actually, and it's not spoiling because it turns out it's not true, I thought it was going to get to the end of the game and turned out that James Vega was indoctrinated or something like that, because he always talks about hearing a hum down here, and I thought, oh, maybe he's indoctrinated. Turns out he's just hearing that hum that's in the background, so, oh well, bit anticlimactic. My mind was running away with me. I thought that was why they brought in a new character, just to get him indoctrinated. I think that is all my model ships that I'm going to find down here. And just right around here, you've got your weapons bench. You've got your armory, again, if you haven't gone to the captain's cabin. Here you've got some procurement interface, just like the guy who was on the original Normandy you could buy stuff off of. You can do that here, just a bit of an extra cost. And here is your upgrade. This is basically you've got all your weapons that you have at the current time. And by paying that amount, it upgrades them. Just makes them do more damage, more ammo capacity, and the weight will be decreased a little bit, meaning your cooldown will be a bit better. But I'm not going to spend any credits upgrading these because I am waiting until eventually I have enough to buy myself the Wraith. Trust me, it will be worthwhile in the end. Surta and fabrications, pistol, assault rifles, not really going to be using them. A shotgun, a thermal clip. Might come in handy, but no, the model of the Kodiak, that's where I'm spending my money. But yeah, all this sort of stuff, like buying upgrades, that's all stuff I'll probably do off camera, and there's no reason for you guys to be bored watching me do all that. But speaking of watching me do a bunch of stuff, I think that is us finally done with our first tour of the Normandy. As I say, after this, everything else would just be left for Normandy stories. But the first go around, I like to walk around with you guys, see what's happening, see what is going on. So, let's have a look at the old journal. We need to be heading off to Palaven to find Primarch Fedorian and part of the Taurian hierarchy. But before that, we have Eden Prime. We'll probably wait until after Palaven to do that, because you go to Eden Prime, and I'm not going to give anything away, but the good thing that comes out of Eden Prime you can't actually use until you're done Priority Palaven, so I might leave that. But first port of call, maybe the Cerberus Lab, then Palaven, all that sort of good stuff. But I do believe that is stuff that I might leave for another time, because I need to take a quick break. I've been recording for a little bit, quite some time now, so I think I call that one quits for now. But when we come back, we will finally actually be getting into the action, finally get to shoot stuff. We've been walking around and talking to people for far too long, but that is something we'll do a little bit later. As for now, I'll catch you guys later.